welcome to another episode of Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That is the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, The JLE Experience. I own the music and copyright. Don't mute nothing Facebook. Always got to say that. Welcome to the Season 9 premiere with an awesome, amazing guest. We got fellow Wayne State University alum, Director, Systems Innovation, TechTown Detroit. Oh, my bad. Got more. Manager, Band Ops, Groove Fellowship, and President CEO of EduTechDiva Enterprises, Tonya V. Thomas, MA.ED, APRM, LSSBB. Get all your stuff out there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. All of that. What is that? Letter soup, alphabet soup.
Hey. You earned it. Got to put you out here right. You earned that.
I appreciate that. It's been a road. It's been a journey.
My teammate saying welcome already to you. What up, Gina?
Hi, Gina. Thanks for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it. I know we've been looking forward to doing this for a while.
Came a long way from I was on the fourth floor trying to graduate.
I know. Jeff and I met on the fourth floor of AAB at Wayne State, and he always took such good care of us. So I'm really glad to be here and helping him, elevate what it is he's trying to do too. So all love.
Okay. First question. What led you to this path?
I've watched some of your other programs and I've seen and I've heard this question before, and I've been trying to contemplate how I answer that question because, as you just read to folks, I do a lot of stuff and folks think I'm a little nuts, but like I said, keeping myself busy keeps me out of trouble too. So, so let's see how I can maybe keep my story somewhat short.
I'll show about you.
Okay. Well, okay. I initially went to Wayne State to become a doctor. I felt like coming up through school, high school, and elementary school, I had a decent handle on science and a bit of a photographic memory, and so some of the complex things about medicine and science, biology fascinated me particularly, and so being able to remember things, draw them out, make them easy for other folks to remember, sort of gave me the vibe that, they make good money. Maybe you should be a doctor. So I initially went to Wayne State to study pre-med. I was that for a while. And then I changed to nursing because I actually wanted to be a pediatrician, but I wanted to actually spend more time with babies. And I figured as a nurse, I'd get to be with babies all day. But life happens, and so marriage and home and job and kids sort of kept me from finishing that path. And what I ended up finishing was a degree in instructional technology. Many jobs between Wayne and now led me to music and technology. I worked for 10 years with Trinity Health. And I moved from help desk to corporate trainer to web designer to overseeing all of communication, creative communication design for that group. And then after that, I went to work for University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. In my first instructional design role. It turned out to be a really good move for me. And I say that because I made a really good friend and a mentor even now who's looking out for me. One of the very best bosses I've ever had, Ellen Copeland Brown. And still she's looking out for me too. So we have conversation, on the frequent, where we're trying to elevate each other and things like that too. So I worked at U of M for a while, and that's kind of where that's what got me started in academia. So I moved from U of M to Oakland Community College, started teaching at Macomb Community College for a while, and then ended up in Wayne State. At Wayne, I came on board as an instructional designer and a performance improvement consultant. My specialty has been media-rich e-learning for a number of years. I branched out of that and added unto myself project management and process improvement. And so I was able to parlay those skills into a senior business systems analyst position at Wayne. And from Wayne, I was able to jump over to TechTown, where my primary call now is to oversee a team that manages process and the platform
Wow.
that manage those processes and data that organization needs to show its value,
Okay.
story of success, tell the success stories of the clients that we serve in
Mm-hmm.
the city of Detroit. And I have to say that I'm pretty blessed to have been able to find many different experiences with many different organizations that have allowed me to align what I do well
Okay.
with a mission and a purpose that makes the work meaningful. That's always been very important to me. And so that continues at TechTown. I've hung on to a teaching job at Wayne State. So I teach in the College of Fine Performing and Communication Arts, CFPCA. I am the web design teacher for that college. I also teach at the business school, business applications there.
Shout out to Wayne.
There you go. There you go. And it's kind of speaking to that connection because of my work as a process improvement, a Lean Six Sigma process improvement expert. I got assigned a project where during the pandemic, where everything went virtual, the business college, the Mike Elledge Business School, they needed to do their very first accreditation virtually.
Ooh.
They had never done that. So
Wow.
I got assigned managing that project to kind of make sure that, we have high profile university representatives coming to look at the school and see how it's doing and recommend improvements and things like that. And so they needed help with how to manage that virtually. So I was able to work with a number of folks in the classroom technology team there at Wayne State. And that is where I was reacquainted with a very good friend of mine that I went to Wayne State with, Dan Gamlin. And yeah, so, and he is the lead of Groove Fellowship and owner of Dag Media Productions, his own record label. So working on that project, it melded very well with taking me on as band manager. And so I decided that because it was seen that I could be organized and focused and putting steps toward meeting goals, that maybe I would add some value there. And of course, I've never managed a band before. So I just kind of told him, okay, this is new. Sure, I can try. And the band is sweet guys. So, Dan Gamlin, Lem Joyner, who is the drummer, Kevin Jackson, who is the lead guitarist. They have been they've become family to me, and they're always telling me how good a job that I'm doing. And I feel like I'm still learning, but I think folks are pretty happy that, we've had one of our best years yet, showing up at big local festivals and having spots on TV. Yes. Recently we were on Live in the D on Channel 4. So I think folks are still really excited about that and what we get to do in 2023. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm doing. And, when I'm not working, I'm a mom of 2 grown girls who are coming into their own. I have a daughter who is a legal assistant, who is actually going to school to be a paralegal now. And I have, a matter of fact, I have another daughter, my youngest, who also works at Wayne.
I didn't know that was your daughter.
That's my daughter, Brittany Thomas. Yes. She is graduating with her undergrad in PR tomorrow.
Wow.
So yes, we're very excited about that. She's put in the work. She's worked full time at Wayne and taken advantage of that tuition situation to get her through. And we kind of chuckle now because, when she was first starting, she was thinking about, oh man, this is going to take me forever. I'm going to be so old when I finish. And here she is. And it's like, wow, that really didn't take that long.
Look, Wayne got the best government cheese. Free education. I can tell people custodial department all day. Let me get this straight. You going to complain about you hate these people, you hate the job, and you can get a free bachelor's, master's, and doctorate for free?
You know what? That is worth it.
You don't want to take one class?
That's worth its weight in gold.
Give me all that shit. Give me all that. I'm trying to go.
Right. I mean, whatever you need to go through, as long as it's not pain and crime and that kind of thing, I think it's well worth being able to add value to an organization like that for what it is that you get back. Yeah. She's definitely appreciating that. I'm proud of the work that she's done. And I've always, when I first got back to Wayne, it really felt like I was coming home because I had gone to Wayne myself. And with the work that I had done in other academic institutions outside of the city of Detroit, I really felt like bringing my particular gifts to serve this community at Wayne State would be much more valuable because I've always been a really big proponent of leveling the playing field of education and making sure that students at Wayne State are afforded just as good an education and all of the same opportunities that they, yes. I wanted to make sure that the students, at least the students that I'm touching, whether I'm working the administrative job or teaching in the classroom, that those students are able to kick it with the best of them, you know, even their counterparts that are going to perhaps more affluent schools. So that's really important to me too. And to see that my own daughter's taken advantage of that. And she is one that has had a great education and is out there using it and making a difference, having an impact of her own is it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. And shout out to you because you look amazing.
Wow. Thanks, John. I appreciate
I've known
that.
you for a long time. Like, okay, I see you moving.
You know, I'm blessed. I know that there's a lot of folks who would not think that I've got 2 daughters that are almost 30. Wow. So you know what? I'm just gonna say God is good. And you know, when you live an honest life, a simple life, then you know there's a lot less stress involved in that. So I think that's been good to me. I laugh a lot. I do try to eat healthy. I do try to exercise a few times a week. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I ain't there yet. You know, I ain't Black Thor yet. I'm Black Thor though. That's my goal. I'm gonna get
it. All right. Well, it's important to have goals. I agree with that.
A picture on LinkedIn with a blonde wig and hammering. Thing like, oh, that's Jeff. He wild.
That's Thor 5. We've had Thor. We've had 4 Thor movies. Yes. Yeah. Love and Thunder was 4. All right.
They 5. You know.
I'm calling Thor 5.
Okay. I go to the training cry while I'm doing it so I can look like him.
All right.
I can't be showing up now. Like, you know,
well, I mean, if he's not careful, he's not going to be able to be in Thor 5 because Chris is doing this thing on Disney Plus now where he's like doing all the extreme stuff.
I didn't watch that yet, but I did see like
I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty riveting. It's pretty interesting.
I ain't trying to be extreme. I'm good on that. It's extreme enough just living life.
Well, it is. It certainly can be. That is for sure. Sure.
I made out of business school. Counting that was no joke.
Good for you. Well, we're proud of you too for doing what you have to do, hanging in where you had to hang in, taking advantage of what was there for you and making it work for you and graduating too. So big shout out to all the graduates tomorrow, all the graduates who have come before. And I'm encouraging everybody else. I know it's been an interesting road through the pandemic, how education has changed. And I know a lot of institutions are having to reflect and change with the times too.
Man, I was gonna have a super party. I'm like, it's like God get a good chuckle. Like, Jeff, you're gonna graduate 96. You're gonna have a stay in the school year. You get out in July. Like, for real? I want to wear my Catholic gown. They're gonna think I had to go to summer school.
Oh no!
Right. Everybody graduated 19. I'm dapping them like, yeah, it's my turn. I'm about to have a Don, the Gatorade, the water. We're gonna get crunk. Pandemic, like for real?
Yeah. Okay. It's well, I mean, you know, I think this is probably one of the first times that folks are walking in a couple of years, and so that's
we did walk last year. It was pretty cool.
Okay, good.
I'm bad in May. They let us walk.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
I know they're walking now at Wayne's new field house.
And so I figured they would once they said, "Oh, that's the hookup with them and the Piston." Like,
right?
Well, I go to Fox or Ford, and you can go right here on campus. Like,
right.
I needed my name in bid.
See, and I'm kind of hearing some things from some students that are like, "Well, dang, we were really looking forward to walking at the Fox."
I just wanted my name just real big. JLE
Big giant marquee.
2020 could have been like that big. Everybody see me like, oh, Jeff coming out, yep. But it's nice though, the way they set it up at the basketball arena.
Okay, so you've seen it. Okay, well, good. All right, I will have to pass that along to my daughter.
Yeah, she gonna like you the way they set it up.
Who is upstairs
trying
to be quiet. Okay,
and they have you come around. It was real cool how they do it.
Oh, that's cool. See, she's gonna be jealous because I got a preview of what it's gonna be like tomorrow, and she's upstairs and she don't know. I'll have to tell her. Jeff said y'all gotta walk through a lake and you gotta go
to the back door of the gym. Because you'll think you're going back to MA.ED, but it's a back door where they want all the graduates to be at. They have you all lined up and have you go down some stairs to get down to the court.
Okay.
I don't want you to go through the front door.
Yeah, they sent the message to everybody, telling everybody to, don't wear your heels and stuff because you got to do some walking and some climbing.
Man, look here. Some of them people,
they wore the heels, didn't they?
Some of the outfits they wore, I'm like, do you know Uncle Luke or something? What is this?
Oh no!
Like, okay.
Wow.
Right, but I don't know if this is what you should be wearing.
Well, it's going to be cold tomorrow, so I'm hoping folks are at least going to dress warm. We'll see.
Come on, it's Detroit. We're going to get all right. The beautiful women in Detroit with their hair done if it's -2, because they going out. Dudes going to get the nice cut. We're going to step out.
That's true.
Might be doing one of these. But they're going to step out. Yeah, I'm sitting there.
It's going to be interesting to see what I find tomorrow. Yes. Might have to do some live streaming of that myself. We'll see.
Okay. That'd be better. Now, what made you come up with EduTechDiva Enterprises?
Oh, wow. Like the name or the business concept? Okay.
Both.
Okay. There's two separate stories there. I decided when my kids were really young that I wanted to do something that I could sustain for a long time.
Okay.
Something that I would enjoy and something that would allow me to spend more time with them. I had the unfortunate experience of having to go back to work after they were born a lot sooner than I was prepared to.
Okay.
My goal was really to try to stay home with them, at least until I could get them to talk. Because my fear was always to, why is that funny, Jeff?
You said at least get them to talk.
Well, I wanted them to be.
I got you.
I wanted them to be. And man, they won't shut up now. And now they won't. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. If you're watching, Kira and Brittany, I love you.
I thought you was quiet. You know.
No, I can talk. I can talk too. They'll let you know. I can talk too. I wanted to at least stay home with them long enough for them to be talking, because one of my biggest fears was leaving my babies at, in the care of somebody else. And if something happened to them, I wanted them to at least be able to tell me something. And I wasn't afforded the time to stay home with them that long. And so when I went to work, I knew that I was going to be setting an example for my girls. That wasn't a set for me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I'm one of those in the generation of moms who, there were more of them that were staying home, and women were starting to work a little bit more. So there were a few, a good number of latchkey kids that kind of grew up in my generation. And I don't think I felt too badly about my kids being latchkey kids, because I can always find really good activities and productive things for them to be able to do before and after school. But I at least wanted them to be able to talk when they were really little. So when I went back to work, I knew that I had to play to my strengths, which at that point, because I was a young mom, at that point, I knew they were very academic. I wanted to do something that I could learn quickly. I wanted to do something that I was enjoying. And I wanted to do something that was going to give me some kind of flexibility to be able to work where I wanted to work, even if that included home as well. So that inspired me to start thinking about starting my own business. I had been working a lot of jobs outside of the home and shuttling my kids to daycare before and after school, and for the summers, trying to save some money. I had them in one summer program in the morning, and I would use my lunch hour to shuttle them to another summer program for the afternoon. It was fun. It was a trek. And that's when I decided that I wanted to go back to work in some sort of technology field, because I had a job where I'd picked up technology pretty quickly.
Okay.
The graphical user interface was still fairly new. I think we were still using like Windows 95 had not come. I'm aging myself here. Windows 95 had not quite come out yet, so we were still on Windows 3.1. But
I was thinking like, what the hell is a graphical?
I remember computers when it was just DOS, man. Yeah, don't let the chubby cheeks fool you. So, I mean, the graphical user interface kind of excited me, and I picked it up pretty quickly. When I was an office administrator for a while, I was having to do a lot of training of folks in the office to put in their timesheets and do their expense reports using all this new software. And that's when I realized, man, okay, so the technology comes easy to me, and I'm actually pretty good at teaching the technology. So my next move was to go to New Horizons, where I taught there for a while. And that was training boot camp, where you had to be in the classroom training for 8 full hours on a program, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. So that was an interesting experience. Basically, what that taught me is that I have those kinds of skills that I could be using for my own business as a consultant. And what I was really hoping was to be able to address the problem and the fear that people had about using technology. And if I could help them learn technology, do their job better, get the work done faster, then in my small way, I was making the world a better place, because I was giving kids their parents back. Instead of their parents having to work so many overtime hours, they could be working to live and not living to work, and being able to sustain a life where they're getting the most use out of why they work in the first place, to spend time with their families, to spend time with their kids and give their kids what they want. So, in a very young, naive sort of way, that's what inspired my venture into what was then called Kappa Beta Computer Solutions. That's what my business was called at first when I launched it. I had the vision that perhaps I would grow it into a business that my daughters might want to take over one day. And so I named it after them, since my oldest daughter's name begins with a K, Kiara, and my younger daughter, her name is Brittany, starting with a B. That's where the Kappa Beta part of the name came to play. No, and that's why I ended up changing my business name, because every time I was posting about it or talking about it, folks were really confused about what I was doing. So I think in about maybe 2003 or so, I decided to hop on the Twitter wagon. And we're not going to talk about Twitter much in this broadcast. At least I'm not going to. Because
nothing.
But what I will say is that I joined Twitter many, many years ago, and I created for myself the moniker of EduTechDiva because it was pretty unique.
Okay.
My signature color is pink, so if you all go to the website that you're seeing here, you'll see there's a whole lot of hot pink there. That's what I wore to my prom. It's the color that makes me happy.
Okay.
And I figured, hey, if T-Mobile can do it, so can I. Who says who says business colors have to be blue? I'm going to do hot pink. So I decided that since I was becoming known as the EduTechDiva, that I would change my business name to EduTechDiva Enterprises. And so I developed a logo and things like that kind of speak to my personality. Okay. But that's kind of that's what inspired me to want to build something of my own. Over time, as I have been laid off of jobs and I've seen other people laid off of jobs, that has just further encouraged me to not only build something of my own, but to encourage other folks to build something of their own. Because if you have something of your own, then even if something else gets taken away from you, like a job during a layoff or something, you have something of your own that nobody else can take away from you. And so I encourage my daughters to build something of their own. And I think that's part of what kind of led me down the path to the full-time work that I'm doing now with TechTown, is because that's what TechTown does, is it helps entrepreneurs to start up and build, grow, sustain themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it in a way that is focused on ending generational poverty. That mission became really important to me because for me, as an educator trying to level the playing field of education for folks, I realized that the disparity in opportunity in education is oftentimes because of underlying poverty issues.
Okay.
So then if I can align my mission and align my work with an organization that has a mission of really kind of getting to the root cause of some of the more broad disparity, then I would be sort of killing two birds with one stone, helping folks to build a living for themselves too, which then also would avail themselves to opportunities in education. So that's kind of the explanation of the business name and what got me to trying to do something on my own.
Okay. My teammate Gina.
Okay, sure.
When exactly did you develop the Never Age potion? Pretty dope.
That's a really good question. I don't know that I can answer that right now because I haven't patented it yet. Like I said, I think that one of the things that I think my daughters will easily be able to share with folks is that they remember their mom always saying, "It's just easier to live right." If you live simply and if you live honestly and if you focus on discovering who you are, what gifts you've been given, and how you're supposed to be using those gifts, then there's a joy in life that comes from that, and there's a meaning and a peacefulness that comes from that I think allows one to live a life where many issues just kind of roll off your back like, a duck in water. Okay. It's just kind of rolling right off of them. And beside that, God is good. I've certainly been through, I've been into the frying pan. I've been into the fire. I've certainly had my trials and my tribulations. I look back on them and I wonder, I'm amazed how I even got through them, let alone how well myself and my family are thriving right now after those things. That's just nothing but God, honestly.
Yeah.
I try to remain focused on my purpose and trying to make the most use of the gifts that he's given me to use. I think that I find great peace in the fact that I happen to know the answer to one of life's biggest questions we hear a lot of people asking is, what's the purpose of life? Why are we here? And I feel like I know that answer because I know who created me. I know what he gave me to use, and I know how he expects me to use those gifts for his glory. So I really just kind of focus on that. And if I focus on that, then I know he is taking care of the rest. And that lets me sleep pretty decently at night.
And the second question, do you work with small businesses?
I do, from a day job perspective, as well as my own consulting firm. So my role at TechTown is to support a team of folks who serves small business clients specifically in the city of Detroit, whether they're starting from a concept or maybe they've been starting really small at home and now they want to go into brick and mortar. Maybe they have a tech idea that they need funding for, and maybe they're building an app or they're building, some sort of physical technology or something like that. There's a wide range of programs that TechTown offers for Detroit area clients to help them get started. I myself, with my own firm, EduTechDiva Enterprises, I've worked with a number of small businesses, from everything from branding and building an identity, communications, building training for their staff, helping them to design processes or improve them if they're existing, and really just kind of become what I hope to do is become a person that they can trust to help them navigate the waters of a lot of technology that's out there that can be really confusing. I've always prided myself in being the person that a lot of folks ask about technology and what works, what really is worth their investment. What is the direction to go in? This stuff that's trending, is it really worth my time and energy? So I focus a lot on that. And while I have my client's ear, I do try to then encourage them also to align themselves with discovering their purpose, discovering their gifts, and making sure that what they're doing in their business is aligned with that, so they can move in confidence, so that they can move in peace, so that they know that what they're doing is contributing something good to the world.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Now we're at the promote you part of the show.
Oh gosh,
what you got going on coming up?
Oh geez, I will say that since the pandemic, I've been really involved with doing some framework building of my own for my business, but then also really focusing on learning how to be a good band manager and learning more about that business. The day job pretty much takes care of itself. I'm happy to say that I'm celebrating my year, my 1 year, my first year at TechTown. I've had to rebuild a team, and I've got wonderful staff who have just knocked things out of the ballpark over the last year. So I'm very proud of that. And we've got more of that to do. We are improving processes. We've got some very important grants that we're working to support with regard to expanding mobility in Detroit. And so we're going to be focusing on that during the day job. For my own business, I'm going to be continuing to flesh out more of my personal systems optimization framework. I have a book that I am currently editing and hope to publish this year.
I thought I felt the author over there. You want to say nothing just yet?
Yes, I'm hoping to be able to actually get that out the door this year. Now that I have a producer, wink, wink, DAG Media Productions, I'm actually hoping to start my own podcast too. I've been playing around with a podcast idea over the last year. It's more of a sort of a social justice podcast. So I'm hoping to do more of that this year.
Well, if I need help with it, let me know.
Okay, absolutely. The more the merrier. Actually, you are one of the folks that's on the list to be a guest on that podcast. So we will be talking more about that. Thank you.
I have to work with you on this business stuff too. Get the
very nice. Very nice. Virtual handshake. All right. And then just a lot more band stuff. We've got another television appearance that's going to air, I believe, in the spring with Metro Detroit Arts. We're going to be looking at, I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but we're working on some bigger music projects in terms of local performance. I know the band is wrapping up, putting finishing touches on its first major full-length album that's going to be released toward the beginning of next year. We're really excited about that. Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll love to do that. What else? I mean, as if that's not enough. Those are kind of the things that are keeping me busy right now. And my kid's graduating next year. So she will be continuing with her master's program. She'll only have a year to go after graduation. So she'll be graduating again in another year.
Wow.
And then my paralegal, my other daughter in paralegal studies, we're looking forward to her finishing up some more of her program really soon too. So yeah, just staying busy and staying out of trouble.
There you go.
Trying to use the gifts that we've been given. One of the things that I do remember my dad saying in my youth is that God gives you gifts, and if you don't use them, you might lose them. And that's always kind of weighed on me. And so I've been very adamant about making sure that I exercise the whole person, not just the one who's good at books, but the one who can sing, the one who can draw, just doing a lot of different things. And so I encourage everybody to make sure that you're honoring your whole self, and not just leaning on what's easy or what's comfortable, what's just making money, because you got to feed your soul too. You got to do what your soul is calling you to do too. So yeah, we're staying busy.
Now you might be a good person to ask this question.
All right, I'll try.
Have you ever thought that I'd be doing this?
No, definitely not. I had no idea that. And that's the thing. That's kind of the thing when we're working our day, when we're just in the grind of our daily duties. Sometimes we're so kind of wrapped up in what it is that we're doing that we don't take the time to see folks in a broader light, and recognize some of the other things that they may do, or ask them, what gives you joy? What do you do outside of here that gives you joy? And this is what I do, and how can we put those together? How can we help each other to expand what it is that we're doing? I shared my story about the podcast idea that I have. I shared that with a friend because I was really inspired by the movie One Night in Miami.
Okay, that's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Regina King was the one who put that together. I watched it, and there was something that it struck me. The casual relationships, the conversation that these bigger than life personas were having in this room. Oops, sorry, I keep bumping my computer. Sometimes I get really animated. And I think what struck me the most is that in some of those conversations, they were being so vulnerable with each other. And so I'm sure to themselves and to each other, they just were regular people. And for me, it's like, wow, yes, these guys, they were just regular people, and they had their hopes, they had their dreams, they had their struggles. What if the world got to see that that's true for every Black man?
Good point.
I was at the time that movie came out, there was not that there isn't still, there was a great deal of social unrest and injustice that was happening pretty frequently. I haven't been one to be on the street protesting, but I've always been trying to figure out, according to the portion that I've been given, how do I use that to elevate the issue? How do I use that to bring more awareness to the situation? How can I help level the playing field for making the situation better for everybody, particularly my people?
Okay.
And so the idea that I have about having conversations with everyday kings is one that would make it obvious how human we are and how much we all have in common with each other. And hopefully humanizing everybody in that way would allow others who would do those people harm to see them differently, and hopefully encourage folks to lean on the side of right and de-escalate and talk and discuss, not be physically violent, not be racially hateful. So that's what I'm hoping to do a little bit more of this year too, is to get that podcast on.
That's gonna be dope.
I'm hoping so. It should be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Geez. No, I had no idea that you would be doing this. There's so well, see, that's the thing.
Sometimes I know music I was doing. I ain't know about
sometimes we don't even know.
Doing none of this.
So that's okay.
Questions.
Sure.
What has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
The biggest challenge, because there certainly hasn't been. There's certainly been a few. I think that for a very long time, I did not pursue what I feel like I've been meant to do because I didn't have the support that I needed, or at least the support that I felt like I needed.
Okay.
I was married for a time. I was very focused on being super mom and super wife and work the job and take care of the house. Um, and so any entrepreneurial interests that I had weren't necessarily fostered in that situation. So once I was not in that situation anymore, I felt kind of obliged to reclaim some of myself and turn my focus to walking my purpose path and pursuing more of the business goals and dreams that I had for myself. I felt I also owed that to my daughters to set that example for them. I've always been very cognizant of, there was a time when they were young and I was feeling kind of badly because I was being a working mom, and I felt badly that they weren't going to have all the same growing up experience that I did with a mom at home. And I was reminded that they don't remember that. They're not going to miss that because they never had that. They're going to have what you give them. And so I decided, instead of feeling guilty about being a working mom, that I was going to give them a vision of a woman who is multidimensional, who can be a good mom and be a solid employee, and who can be a student and accomplish goals at school, who can hold down a job, do well at her job, get promoted at her job. And I can see the fruit of that as I watch them now in their blossoming careers. So that's pretty cool. I think I wish I had gotten started a lot sooner. I wish I had had more knowledge and more support earlier in my life to get my own thing going. And so I think one of the biggest challenges for me was just getting to know myself enough to be confident to move forward in that kind of work, and then juggle job and family and house and my own pursuits and pursuing education all at the same time. I will say, though, even though that was probably one of my biggest challenges, I think it's probably been also one of my saving graces. My family has gone through a lot. There was a time where we were going through the death of multiple family members in short order, divorces, job losses, things like that. And I think staying busy helped me to cope. I was very focused on making sure my girls were okay. I was very, very, very focused on keeping the train on the tracks so that we were always covered. We always had a place to live. We didn't hurt for food. The girls were able to go to school and, have their clothes and all those kinds of things. And so I've learned that staying busy for me it's good for my busy brain. It does help me cope with challenges and troubles. And again, I think because I try to stay focused on doing work that aligns with my purpose and uses the gifts that I've been given, I think the Lord has been kind in turning around and blessing me for those things.
Okay. And last question. What advice do you have someone trying to find their purpose?
Ooh. Well, I guess my first recommendation would be call me, because that's what we talk about. As a consultant, those are some of the exercises that I like to try to coach people through is trying to determine what their purpose is and what they're supposed to do with that. What is it about them and their unique mix of gifts? Because there are many people who can sing. There are many people who are very handy with their hands. There are many people who are very good at very complicated math. But each one of us has more than just one gift. And usually that combination of gifts is very unique. And so I try to encourage people to sit down with themselves and do some self-discovery. Think about not just what they do well, but what feeds them. What is it that they do well, that they enjoy, that they're constantly trying to do more of? What is it that maybe you don't do so well, but you still always want to do it? What is it that you do that is really hard? And other folks might hate it, but you just keep coming back for more because you love it so much, because it feeds you, it fuels you. Those tend to be your gifts. And then think about how you're supposed to be using those gifts. I am a Christ-following believer. Mm-hmm. And I believe that my gifts are a reflection of him because he's given them to me. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the way that I use those gifts are supposed to honor him and be an example to folks so that they can see me and see him through me and be curious about, man, how does she do this? Mm-hmm. How does she do this so effectively? How does she stay on focus when life is, fires are burning around her, those kinds of things. And I think that if, the more that I can do that, the more that I'm following my purpose and making sure that other folks are being able to contribute their gifts in that way too.
Awesome. I want to thank you for sharing your story to help others find their purpose.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I want to thank fellow Wayne State University alum, Director, Systems Innovation, TechTown, Detroit, Manager, Band Ops Groove Fellowship, and President CEO Enterprises, MA.ED, APRM, LSSBB. Appreciate you and look forward to being on your show.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. And if there's any question about what all that alphabet soup is, just reach out. I'll let you know. All right, Jeff, week. Thank you so much. You have a nice holiday. You and everybody out there have a nice holiday. Thanks. Yeah. Bye. 313 Detroit love, the Motor City. Detroit love, can't nothing stop me. Detroit love, I love my city. Detroit love, that 313. Detroit raised me. Detroit's in me. Can't